Hello everyone. I had meant to do this video at the beginning of this year, but the first half of the year didn't play out that well for me, and I just had to take a bit of time off doing too much screen work to manage my eyesight. It's a problem that's not going to go away. It's possibly going to get worse, but with good management I should be able to continue for quite a while yet, I hope. So with that explanation out of the way, we're now looking ahead to the second half of 2026. I've already put a lot of games from the first half of the year into my backlog, and we're now facing another great lineup of games, especially in the RPG genre, to add to our already bulging backlogs. There are some games that I am really keen on, and I'm hoping they will turn out well. I've had a look at a lot of trailers, information, etc., and I just want to give you a quick overview of what I'm looking at, what I may well be playing throughout the rest of the year. And of course it'll be interesting to hear what you've got lined up. I can't cover obviously everything that's potentially of interest, so I'm sure there will be a lot of titles that you may be interested in. Let me know. I always love discovering new things.
Hello, small witch.
So let's start up and have a look at what I have my eye on for the rest of the year. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy it.
Greetings! First time in town, right? Welcome to Whisk. Have a map and enjoy exploring.
There isn't much to say about this one, except that I am hugely excited for it. I looked at the trailer when it first came out. I saw the name Game Freak, yes, the Pokemon people. I almost couldn't believe it. I love the whole look and feel of this. It just looks phenomenal to my eye. The tricky question, of course, as always, is the action gameplay well thought out and well balanced. Let's hope the game turns out as beautiful as it looks. My heart has already bonded with that big wolf dog. My second pick, Fable, is delayed yet again. I am very excited for this reboot. I love the classic Fable games. They are one reason why I bought an Xbox. The reboot will be available on all major platforms, which is great, I think. And they're now saying it'll be February next year. I know a lot of people will be disappointed, but probably not that surprised since we've had a lot of delays. Personally, I don't mind the delay that much because backlog. Just a quick look at some of the combat scenes available in the Developer Direct. What I've always loved about Fable is the very humorous approach they have to their characters, and that comes through in the fighting as well. Now, I'm a big fan of very, very large hammers. They may be slow to wield, but it is such a thrill to swing them about. I love Onimusha.
Onimusha Way of the Sword.
I have 3 Onimusha games for the PS2. I've played the remastered version of the first game on the PS4, and now, of course, I'm hugely excited for a completely new Onimusha game.
Onimusha Way of the Sword is set in 17th century Edo period Kyoto. Musashi set out on his journey with a simple goal: master the sword and stand peerless above all swordsmen. But the Genma had other plans. Musashi is struck down, but finds himself revived with an Oni gauntlet on his arm. Now, Musashi has a new goal: rise up against the monstrous Genma ravaging the land, and carve himself a new fate.
They are increasingly difficult for me to play, unfortunately, because of my hands. After playing the demo on the PS5, my fingers were really hurting, but I will not give up. Musashi and his story just means too much to me, and if I have to play it in little bite-sized morsels, so be it. I will show you a little bit of my gameplay of the demo. I'd love to hear from any of you who are Onimusha fans or are ready to step into the world for the first time. The game has extensive settings, especially for accessibility. There are 2 difficulty options, and I obviously have to go with the one termed easy. And here we go. We need to make our way to the temple. En route, we will have to defeat a lot of minor enemies. Let me say straight away that the tutorials for getting you into the combat are good. The demo overall felt just a little bit rough around some of the edges, but I would think Capcom is likely to still brush up and fine-tune things like some of the graphics, etc. before release. Another thing I noticed is that this game is PS5 Pro enhanced, and like other games before that I tried, which are aimed presumably for optimal performance on a Pro console, my regular PS5 Slim was heating up quite a bit. I would manage that by just having shorter sessions, maybe about 45 minutes. I did notice quite a significant difficulty jump once you face stronger enemies, something like a mid-boss type. We'll see that in a moment. At this point we are introduced to the map, which is thankfully pretty good, and as you can see we definitely need it because the temple layout is quite awkward and winding. Now this is really crucial, parrying and the blazing state. I didn't practice it properly at this stage, and that bit me in the bum later on in boss fights, and I had to repeat them several times until I realized that this was the crux of the matter of getting on top of difficult enemies. The same thing applies to the reflex dodge. But the parry and being able to enter into the blazing state is really the key to getting through boss battles. The deflecting technique is also rather neat. It works best, I found, against ranged attacks. This is another nice touch. It all feels quite natural, really. And here the flash indicated that something had happened to the enemy, and sure enough the deflection had worked and he'd lost a lot of HP. So it takes just one more deflection, boom, and down he goes. Now comes the gauntlet. The voice tells him what he needs to do. He's quite handsome, isn't he? And he's got that samurai swagger.
目が覚めたんなら俺の質問に嫌です。嫌ってお前ふざけるな。
コテ女などと汚い物言いへの仕返しです。
Here you learn about your Oni vision. And can you see that skeletal hand down there? You need to cut that off, and then this huge braid will disappear. There are several of these throughout the temple, and it's quite a job tracking them around the temple paths and getting rid of the source. There's a nice variety of enemies with different types of skills. I'm slowly ramping up. You can also do a quick stealth attack from the back. We have reached the stage for the main event, but of course it's blocked, and it's an absolutely massive thread that will take us quite a while to track and unravel, giving plenty of opportunity to hone our skills further. Finally, I found the end of the thread. Hack off the hand, and there goes the whole thread. But it's still blocked. Oh no, another thread is going over the roof and out. I have to get through this building, and wouldn't you know it, a whole army of undead is out for my blood, but Musashi mows through them all. Ah, a peaceful Japanese garden, but I need to find the thread. It's deep in a cave. We know what to do. Oh, there's a treasure chest. Nice. Look at that. Weapons and other stuff is automatically equipped. So far, I haven't seen a menu yet. And we get a special power-up with R1. In this Genma fight, we learn about absorbing blue souls to power up our Oni power. What is this? Bigfoot? You can do a grab reversal, and that is actually rather fun. Although you need to watch what the enemies are telegraphing, and my eyesight isn't always good enough for that anymore, so I have opted to have the control suggestion shown. It's an accessibility feature. It's there if you need it. Finally, boss time.
こ
He is not exaggerating, but once I had my technique perfect and knew his patterns, it was in the end suddenly, as so often, surprisingly quick and not too difficult. At first, I had a lot of trouble with this one. This is one tough customer. I mentioned it earlier about having honed your technique with the parry. The problem is your opponent knows how to use L1 too, and he is extremely good at it. The magic control is L1. Getting it almost perfect like here staggers him and makes him vulnerable for a short period. Considering the growing problems I'm having with fast action games, I think it's a good move on my part to look more into strategy games. Tactics games have always been my jam, and this feels like a natural extension. So up next, I want to look at one such example of where my interest is taking me next. This PC game came into early access in May. It straight away sold over 500,000 copies within 72 hours after launching on Steam, and has since sold over 1 million copies. It is a complete remake of the classic Heroes of Might and Magic 3. The developer is Unfrozen Studio. They previously made a game called Eratus, Lord of the Dead. Eratus, Lord of the Dead is a game that will appeal to those who liked Darkest Dungeon. Now that's a game I spent a lot of time with, and it is a favourite of mine. With such a dark premise for a game as Eratus, it helps that there is a fair amount of humour in the way the descriptions of the minions are presented. What impressed me straight away with Eratus was the very thorough and helpful tutorial, which is very extensive, just like the one in Olden era. Eratus is very much what I would call a snappy dungeon crawler. It has a wide range of features, but it's not overwhelming. And while it is designed to be very tough, they do have a cakewalk difficulty as well. I have talked in my previous video about Brigandine, about my wanting to get more into strategy games. And the moment I tried the demo of Olden era, I realised that this is the perfect entry point for anyone who doesn't know much about this type of strategy game. What's an easier entry point? And I think this might be it. I had a blast playing the demo. I would really highly recommend it if you just want to just get a flavour for this type of game. One reason why I think it's so ideal is that the tutorial is so well done. It just starts you out with the basics. It's not condescending at all. It eases you with a light guiding hand into the gameplay. As you can see here, I played the very first intro tutorial and then went on to the somewhat more advanced one, which is absolutely amazing, and I can't even begin to tell you how much fun it is. I love galloping all over that map, trying to find things and working out what I can do next. If you have a PC Game Pass, the game is included. This newest entry in the renowned Heroes of Might and Magic series, says Steam, brings strategic empire building, epic turn-based tactical battles, and in-depth RPG mechanics to a world of fantastical beasts, formidable spellcasters, and fierce champions. And that's a pretty good summary. It also says it's made for series veterans and newcomers alike. And that really seems to be the case, as far as I can tell. I don't normally buy and play games in early access. To me, that only makes sense if you want to be strongly involved with the development of a game. But since I play a very broad range of games, it doesn't make sense to me usually to get tied down with one game like that. However, Olden Era is already well advanced and very playable, and what I can see from the comments, there is a lot of content already there. So I'm thinking I might purchase a copy probably towards the end of the year. One criticism I've picked up from reading the feedback is that the focus so far seems to have been very strongly on PvP rather than the single player campaign. Checking the information for the early access roadmap on the Ubisoft website, I see that they include in the long-term plans completion of a single player campaign. Now, for me, who basically would like to play the single player campaign, that is of course a bit disappointing that it's been pushed further back. But as I said, I think there's enough there to keep a newbie like me happy and to train me up, so to speak, ready for when the full game is complete and ready. I find all the maps, the colours, the character designs, the illustrations, it's all beautifully done, and for me really enhances the gameplay experience. One more commendable effect that a remake like this produces is that it encourages you, well certainly me, to return to the original, in this case Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and just give it a go. See what the original, the classic, is really like, and discover and appreciate why it is considered so great.
Can I really do this? Rewrite history and save the lost future?
Another Eden was a popular mobile free-to-play game released back in 2019 worldwide. I don't play mobile games, so I can't comment on it, but now we're getting what's referred to as a reworked version for PC and Switch. The two big JRPG names mentioned at the beginning of this trailer were and still are obviously a very big draw card. To my mind, the mobile origin of the game is still discernible, particularly in the graphics, the character graphics, and also the animation. However, in the end, it's all about the story and the gameplay. I wouldn't say I'm super excited for this game, but I'm certainly hoping that we will have a pleasant surprise, and I intend to keep my eye on it and try it out maybe in between some of the other big releases. By the way, at 8.5 minutes, this is surely one of the longest trailers I've ever encountered. So if you'd like to see more of the game, I recommend you check it out.
Of course. Now, let us waste no more time.
I must say, a frog character is a big plus in my book.
Now go.
Another Eden begins.
There is so much happening in the indie RPG space. I'm struggling to keep an eye on even the most interesting projects. Sacrifire is one of those. I tend to look at the previous work of developers, and in this case they made an RPG a way back called Regalia, and I actually played it at release. I found it a bit humdrum and forgettable, so I'm hoping they have gained a lot of experience since then and a lot of lessons from their first game, and that's of course the important thing in the end. Going just by the trailer, it looks like they've really managed to move up several steps with their new game.
Heresy isn't a myth or a bedtime yarn. It's real. It's dangerous. It's what we fight against.
What do you want us to do?
LumenTale Memories of Trey is a monster collecting RPG in the Pokemon mold. It was released already a few days ago on the 27th of May. I'm afraid time caught up with me, so I hope you'll forgive me for including it, but I really wanted to show you this game. It's available on PC and on the Switch. The developer is a small Italian studio called Beehive Studios, founded only 4 years ago. I think they've done extraordinary work in this. They call it a narrative-led monster collection game. I think they're right in that, because the first thing that pulled me in when I tried the demo was the world, the setting and the story. I think you'll probably agree when I say that your typical Pokemon story is getting a bit predictable and threadbare by now. And it's a breath of fresh air to have a quite different type of story, one that pulls you in immediately, I think. I have a little bit of concern over how close some of these creatures look in design and style to some of the Pokemon types. However, as I understand it, the main concern for Nintendo and the Pokemon Company appears to be their patent for the Pokemon capturing mechanic via the ball. So I trust everything is fine and we can enjoy LumenTale, especially since it was, after all, also approved for the Switch eShop. So now I want to show you a little bit from the very beginning, my gameplay of the demo, starting with Trey finding himself mysteriously cast out in a forest. This is where the best laid plans of mice and YouTubers go. I thought I had a complete recording of my demo play, but I only found this one bit of recorded footage, so this will have to do, I'm afraid. There is sadly no voice acting. I'm sure this was one step too far for the indie budget. I think with the voices this could be something really truly special. And now we are introduced to the Holoken, which is, yes, a kind of Pokeball type device. But there's a lot more to it than you see here at first. Now, what I like about this scene is that our very first attempt is not magically successful, but it's a failure. Very realistic. Of course, we also have a professor in this game. Some tropes will never die. And here we get to know straight away one of the features of LumenTale, the Onimusha. That sets it apart probably from most other monster collecting games. I haven't been able to keep up with all of them. There are so many now. And to be honest, just like with farming games in the indie space, I don't know about you, but I've become a bit fatigued with the endless flood of games in the same vein, in this genre, whether farming or monster collecting, often little setting them apart. So I've almost given up following them, but I'm glad I've tried LumenTale. It feels just that bit different, and I get this sort of excitement stirring again about collecting monsters, so I think I will play it in the end. In time-honoured tradition, you're given a choice of starter, Anemon, and I've chosen Queka. You first have to prove your worth, which means having an introductory battle with your chosen Anemon. And I am sorry I don't have more and later footage to show you of the combat, but this will give you a glimpse at least. It looked and felt clean and well designed to me, and the tutorials are also excellent throughout. Once Queka has joined Trey, we are basically ready to start our big adventure and find out more about this rather mysterious world, especially what happened to Trey, where did he come from, and what is this all about. The only small disappointment I have is over the pixel art for human characters. I don't think it's quite up to the standard that we've seen in a few other games. I think that's one reason why this game might actually preferably be played on a handheld like a Steam Deck or the Switch. But the character illustration artwork is really cool, I think. I wouldn't have minded if they had kept everything in that style. Let me know if LumenTale is something that might interest you. Runescape Dragonwilds has been in early access for about a year on PC, and it's now coming to PlayStation. I've never played any of the PC RuneScape games, but this looks kinda homely to me. It's the sort of thing I might want to relax with at the end of the day. That's the kind of game it looks like to me, and it's got dragons in it. What's not to like? I wouldn't say it's terribly high on my list, but it is the kind of survival, building and crafting and combat type of game set in a fantasy world that appeals to me. This is the first time that RuneScape is coming to console. It'll come as the 1.0 release, so hopefully the full game, and they're aiming for later this year. My guess is Q4. A brand new Culdcept game? Count me in. What the heck is Culdcept, you ask? Well, look at it, it's a board game and it's got cards and spells and, yes, dice, and it's got a story as well now. I'm just amazed. I love the art style. It's coming out in July for PC, Steam and Switch 1 and 2. How do I know about Culdcept? I have got a 3DS game called Culdcept Revolved. I remember playing it back then and really enjoying it, but I never developed enough skills to really get deeper into it. So it looks to me like this new game might be just the opportunity. Culdcept goes back all the way to the Sega Saturn in 1997. The first game came out, and guess what? There will be a remastered version of this original game released as well. They call it an enhanced port, and it's officially the first time it's released in English. A demo is available on Steam, and I have had a quick play around with it, and boy is it tough. It's your typical classic old-fashioned game, and you really need to dig in and dig deep to get the most out of it. So I shall take the easy path come July, and I'll give the new game a shot. I'm really looking forward to it. A Culdcept always has that just one more turn addictive quality. What drew me to Village in the Shade instantly is the presentation. I love the colour palette, the details of the village. The gorgeous character illustrations. So this is a cozy farming game, they say, but it's made by the team that gave us Yomawari, and there's a bit of a Yomawari twist here. An unusual and sensitive move. You are given the choice of a peaceful village mode or, well, a creepy village mode. This appears to be a trend at the moment, and I'll be looking at another scary-fied farming game in my follow-up video. So that was my roster of potential gameplay for this year. Some of them, no doubt, I will want to jump on straight away. Others may take a bit longer for me to get to. I look forward to reading what you've got planned. As always, thank you for your time. I'm Britta for Food for Dogs. Please keep well, and I hope to see you next time.